My girlfriend asked for a break, so I returned the ring and flew to Japan alone. My girlfriend Lisa sat me down on a Tuesday night and said, "I think we need a break to see if we miss each other." I nodded and said, "I understand." What she didn't know was I'd been planning to propose next week. The ring was hidden in my sock drawer, and I'd already booked our Valentine's dinner and practiced what I'd say in my car. So when she talked about needing space and finding herself, I stayed calm and said, "Take all the time you need." She kept staring at me like she expected me to beg. Instead, I helped her pack an overnight bag, folded her clothes, and carried it to the door. She asked, "Are you really okay?" I said, "Yeah," even though my throat felt tight. When she left, the place went dead quiet. I opened the sock drawer, looked at the ring box, and just stood there. The next morning, I walked straight into the jewelry store and returned the ring. Putting that box on the counter made my hands shake, and the jeweler didn't even need an explanation. $2,000 went back onto my card, and I walked out with a receipt and a hollow feeling in my chest. Sitting in my car, I kept thinking, she wanted a break, so fine. Then I did something I never would have done if we were still together. I bought a one-way ticket to Tokyo, leaving in 10 days. I talked about teaching English in Japan before, and Lisa always shut it down, calling it childish and irresponsible. She had everything mapped out for us, and there was never room for what I wanted. Once I had the ticket, everything moved fast. I quit my job, sold a few things, and packed one suitcase. Lisa posted smiling photos every weekend like the break was her glow-up, and I stopped trying to read meaning into it. On the flight over, I kept thinking I'd wake up and realize I'd lost my mind, but the plane kept moving, and so did I. 2 weeks later, I was in Shibuya with one suitcase and terrible Japanese, getting bumped around in the crosswalk and trying not to panic. I couldn't even figure out how to top up a train card at first, and I stood there sweating while people lined up behind me. I found a tiny job at a conversation school in Akihabara because they needed someone right away. I rented a shoebox apartment with thin walls, and my first nights I barely slept because I could hear the train and my neighbor's TV. Every day was a new little stress test. I got lost on trains, pointed at menus like a kid, and messed up simple words until my face burned. I also had moments where I wanted to call Lisa just because it was familiar, and I'd stop myself and stare at my own hand like, don't. Then I'd do something small, like order food without freezing, and I'd feel this quiet pride. A friend back home, Jake, kept sending me screenshots of Lisa's social media. New bars, new outfits, lots of attention, and captions about finding herself. He also said she kept asking people if I was okay, like she expected me to still be waiting. By month 3, my Japanese was finally good enough to hold real conversations, and I wasn't checking my phone non-stop anymore. That's when I went to a language exchange in a tiny cafe near Harajuku and met Yuki. She said hello in English like it was nothing, and when I tried a Japanese joke and messed it up, she laughed anyway. She spoke perfect English, and somehow made me feel safe and challenged at the same time. We started meeting twice a week to trade languages, and pretty soon it wasn't just practice. One Thursday morning, we were outside a convenience store, sharing hot coffee and those weird fluffy pancakes, and my phone started buzzing like crazy. "Lisa, I made a huge mistake. I miss us so much it hurts." Then, "This break was the stupidest idea ever. Can you please come home?" Then, "I saw Jake post about Japan. Are you seriously teaching little kids now? This is ridiculous." Then, "Answer me right now." Then, "You can't ignore me forever. We need to talk." I stared at the screen and felt my stomach drop. Not from missing her, but from how fast she flipped from sweet to controlling. My thumb hovered over the call button for half a second, and then I felt angry at myself for even considering it. Yuki saw my face and said, "Bad news?" I showed her the messages. She read them, raised her eyebrows, and started laughing so hard she had to turn away. She said, "She wants a break, but she doesn't want you to move on." Then she looked at me and asked, "What do you want?" My answer hit me all at once. I didn't want a debate. I didn't want to be dragged back into her plan. I typed, "I found someone who doesn't need breaks to know what she wants. Please stop texting me." I hit send. 2 minutes later, her reply came back. "Japan was always a stupid idea anyway. You're throwing your life away for a fantasy." My jaw clenched, but I didn't write a single word back. I blocked her number, slid my phone into my pocket, and Yuki squeezed my hand as the store door chimed behind us. Now my friends are saying I'm cold for blocking her. Was I wrong?